and welcome here to Fort Lee as we honor the members of the senior class here on Fort Lee Senior Night. Coach Pagano and the Fort Lee Athletics Department would like to thank the senior parents and all the parents in the soccer program for their support of the girls all throughout the season as you helped make this a special night here tonight. The Fort Lee Athletics Department would also like to acknowledge Ridgefield Park and their seniors that are going to be on to great things in the future. Those seniors include Marley Regeb, Neela Argueta, Belina Bakiri, Maya Kraft, Jezebel Peralta, and Gabby Gutierrez. A round of applause for the seniors from Ridgefield Park, and we thank you for being here to honor our seniors here tonight. And now we honor the three seniors here as part of the 2022 Fort Lee Girls Varsity Soccer Team. Number 29, Captain Jordana Marcus. Jordana is a four-year varsity starter and has been a huge part of this team's success since her freshman year. She will be greatly missed next year, and we wish her the best in everything that she does. Number 12, Captain Liv Silver. Liz Silver is a four-year varsity player and is a fantastic leader. Although she didn't get to play much this season, she has not missed a practice or game and will be greatly missed next year. Good luck, Liz. And number 0, Captain Taylor Budrato. Taylor Budrato was a late addition to the varsity soccer team starting her junior year. She stepped into the goal and hasn't looked back. She's a great player and a great leader. Good luck, Taylor. Good luck to all of our seniors. You will be missed next year. And thank you for everything you've done for this Bridgman soccer program. Another round of applause for the seniors for Fort Lee High School. Good evening, everyone, and welcome here to the Dr. Alan W. Sugarman Sports Complex in Fort Lee, New Jersey, under the bright lights. It's Senior Night 2022 edition, as today it's a Big North American Division showdown between the visiting Scarlets of Ridgefield Park, 2-6 on the season, 1-4 in divisional play, taking on your Fort Lee Bridgman, 3-8 on the year and 3-3 in the Big North American Division. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by my producer, Dimitri Nanis, and our camera operator, Andrew Park, and we're so glad that you could join us for this special night of soccer for Fort Lee as we honor the three senior members of this Bridgman varsity program, Elizabeth Silver, Jordana Marcus, and Taylor Pedrano, who were honored in a ceremony leading up to today's action. Fort Lee is going to be trying to procure their fourth win of the season here, as they're going to be trying to take down Ridgefield Park for the second time this season, and try in the process to also produce their fourth win of the year in divisional play. Ridgefield Park is trying to snap a 9-game losing streak against Fort Lee, and in the process win their first game against the Bridgmen since September 13th of 2016. Head coach of Ridgefield Park is Ryan Fells, and Fort Lee is led by Cal Pagano in his sixth season at the helm, led Fort Lee to the American Divisional title in 2020. They won't be able to bring home the crown this year, but still on the line for Fort Lee. They could procure a couple more wins. They could punch their ticket to the state tournament. Right now, coming into today's action in North 1 Group 3, the PowerPoints, Fort Lee would occupy the 16th and final spot in the state playoffs. They're trying to hold off the likes of Leonia and Morris Hills, who are trying to rally late in the regular season to get one of those top 16 seeds. The top 16 teams qualify for the sectional playoffs, and right now, if the playoffs started today, Fort Lee would be able to participate in the state postseason. Fort Lee are looking for their first win at home since their home opener, which was an 8-0 win against Dumont back on September 12th. Since that game, the Bridgmen have lost their last 3 games here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Ridgefield Park is still trying themselves to race into playoff contention. Coming into today's game, Ridgefield Park is ranking 18th in the North 2 Group 2 PowerPoint rankings. Again, they're 2 spots out of the playoffs and 8 points away from the last team that would qualify, which would be Lodi. So a win here today, not only for bragging rights, but also for playoff implications, would be huge for the Scarlets. Ridgefield Park will be in their road white uniforms with red numerals, while Fort Lee will be wearing their black uniforms with orange numerals. It was a successful senior night last night for Fort Lee volleyball against Ridgefield Park, as seen here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. And tonight here, the soccer program for girls soccer is going to be trying to replicate that same success against Ridgefield Park here under the bright lights, as we're closing in near the end of the regular season for both sides. First meeting of the season came back on September 20th. At Ridgefield Park, Fort Lee won on the road 7-2. They're trying to make it now 10 wins in a row against Ridgefield Park. So the ball has been teed up at midfield, getting set for the start of the opening kickoff here. And we are underway here from Fort Lee. As the fans enjoying getting loud near us to the press box and cheering on their seniors here on senior night, as Fort Lee will go back to collect it over to the near side. Bridgmen have been able to score goals this season. They've produced 32 goals. The problem that Fort Lee has had is keeping it out of their own net. They've surrendered 49 total goals on the season. Ridgefield Park is only on the other side been able to produce 11 total goals on the year while giving up 27. As that's sent wide to the far side. As Fort Lee will take it for a run down that far side, but just mishit it with the touch going a little too long.
Alexa Castro is the leading scorer for this Fort Lee side, scoring 18 of her team's 32 goals on the season. She has been brilliant, only a sophomore. Such a bright future ahead. As Fort Lee boots that over to the near side, Jordana Marcus, one of the seniors on senior night, propels that one to the near post side, and that's going to be gobbled up by Eva Capurso. Capurso made 17 saves in the first meeting of the season between these two teams. 17 saves while allowing 7 goals. Out up top to Ellis Marcus. Ellis, a freshman, was there for the picture with her parents and with her sister, as her sister, one of those 3 seniors honored before today's contest. That goes out of bounds, will be a throw-in, the defensive third for Ridgefield Park. Playing it backwards, but away from a fellow teammate, Ridgefield Park will actually turn it over. Nila Argueta, one of the seniors for Ridgefield Park, misplayed that one. It goes out of bounds. It will be an opportunity here for a corner kick for Fort Lee, trying to take an early lead in this one. 7 goals, the second most scored in a single game this year for the Bridgemen. Here's a header attempt, but that was softly taken off the head, and that's going to easily allow Capurso to get to that one. Popped up in the back line. Fort Lee trying to get it out of their defensive end. Cleared up to space. Haley So is getting it up top. Not able to break free was Castro. Was trying to split the double team. Alexa Castro had a hat trick back on September 20th in the first meeting of the year between the two sides. Castro's upset that she doesn't get another chance to play Dumont against the Huskies this year. Castro, number 10 in black, had 8 goals in 2 games against Dumont. Feasted on that divisional rival. As now the Bridgemen trying to break out to the near side, but last touched out of bounds off of Fort Lee. Will be a throw-in now for Ridgefield Park to the near side. There's contact from behind by a Scarlet defender, as that was Amelia Gutierrez Tommy. And that will result in a foul and a free kick upcoming now for Fort Lee. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, Andrew Park. Again, glad that you could join us here. Back-to-back senior nights that we have brought you here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Both against Ridgefield Park, as that one is lined wide of the net to the right side, as that will go out now for a goal kick. Fort Lee will have one of their defenders handle the goal kick. Taken down by Jordana Marcus to the near side. That's knocked out of bounds. Last touch off of Ridgefield Park. That's going to be another corner kick awarded to Fort Lee coming up. As now the Bridgemen will send a couple players forward to try to find someone as a recipient of the other end of this delivery. Coming up on 5 minutes into the start of the first half, that pass goes up to the top of the box, try and maneuver around inside. There's a shot, deflected away before it could get on cage. Good job of getting in the shooting lane by Ridgefield Park. Fort Lee still lurking inside, trying to play it forward. Fort Lee bringing it up now, so doing a good job dribbling through the heart of the defense, still loose in the box, takes the shot, and a low-angled shot saved by Capurso. What an outstanding job of just bringing it and cutting through the heart of the defense there. But Capurso was up to the challenge, made the low save, and keeps this scoreless just 5 minutes into the start of this first half. A nice evening here, 66 degrees at kickoff. As once again, that's going to go out of bounds on the far side, and this time it's going to be a corner given to Fort Lee on the far side flag. They've not been able to score off the set piece just yet, but they are producing plenty of opportunities in tight. That's a low liner, and hugging on that far post corner was Capurso, as she'll snatch that one and look to clear it out the other way. Sent forward by Joellen Rodriguez, number 18. Up top, here comes Fort Lee trying to break out in space to the far side wing. Cutting back at around the 10-yard line, shooting and firing, not missing by much. Fort Lee is really putting the pressure on the back line of Ridgefield Park. Another shot that this time just missed wide of the near side post. And it looks like subs are going to be made. One sub apiece for both teams. Castro was the one who was setting and firing there, looking for what could be her 19th goal this season. Castro, only a sophomore, already in her illustrious career. 25 goals, 5 assists. Just a pure goal scorer. To think that she's only going to be halfway through her high school career when this season comes to an end. Long ball pass is gobbled up that time by Capurso. Sent down to the midfield. Ridgefield Park just not even getting a chance to collect it themselves. Haley So, the junior, fancy footwork so far in this game. She was the one who dribbled through about 3 different defenders. And the offside flag is up, as trying to trail behind the back line was one of the strikers for Ridgefield Park. Nadia Utuleu, a freshman forward, number 20. So Fort Lee will kick this free kick away. They've been putting the pressure on this side of the field, limiting the opportunities for Ridgefield Park to possess on offense themselves. As that's knocked out of bounds. As that one sent into the box and just saving it. Or is that going to be a goal? That is a goal. Capurso was trying to snag it, but it actually, in fact, went over the goal line in that far side corner. So it is credited as a goal there for Fort Lee, and the Bridgemen take a 1-0 lead. Looks like the goal is going to be credited to Haley So. So scores the goal. And Fort Lee has raced out in front now by a score of 1-0. Seemed like it was an innocuous play on the far side, as offside also called here against Ridgefield Park. But Capurso, kind of the way she was doing it nonchalantly, made it look like it was an easy save. From our vantage point, it's tough to see that angle on the far post side, and the referee was right there in that spot to see that she had actually taken it from outside of the goal line and out of the net. And that was, in fact, a goal. So Haley So credited with the goal, her 5th goal of the season for the junior. She had scored a pair of goals back on September 20th in the initial meeting. So Fort Lee rewarded for their constant pressure being put on here, as we're coming up on 10 minutes into the first half, already a 1-0 lead, and Fort Lee is buzzing here tonight. Looking for their first win since that 8-0 shutout victory of Dumont back on September 12th in their home opener. As Fort Lee trying to race after it to the far side. And that one slowly rolls through the middle. No one lurking there for a potential tap-in goal attempt. As that's taken now up top. Oruleu getting a foot on it. There was Valadares for Ridgefield Park, and it's stolen away by Haley So. So the goal scorer trying to loft that one forward. Castro being flanked in front of her. Jordana Marcus with a head of steam down the near side wing. Centered ball inside the box. Still not cleared out of harm's way. Taken in. Shot deflected away out of bounds. And it's going to be yet another corner kick given to Fort Lee here in the first half of play. Marcus showing off the touch and the speed down the near side wing. One of the captains of this team. Trying to feed inside to Castro. Castro's shot was deflected. But again, here's another corner kick opportunity for Fort Lee. Trying to grow their 1-0 lead. Service to the far side, and that bounces through. As Fort Lee will get to it. To the far side, that was Fort Lee trying to send it over now to the near side. Here's So. So once again, dribbling up a storm. Stolen away, though, as Ridgefield Park will now operate with a counterattack. Don't have a lot of players lurking there, and Fort Lee's going to have to run back to try to get to it. As Fort Lee's not going to take any chances, they elect to just clear it out of bounds to the far side. Off the foot of Livia Krautz, junior defender. Now Fort Lee in the open field have stolen it away. There's a long ball up top. Here's an opportunity. Castro from distance takes that shot. Maybe had a little more time than she even thought she was going to have. As that went out of bounds and will go out for a goal kick. Castro had an opportunity, more likely to go 1v1 with that last defender and get a little closer if she wanted, but she wanted to try her luck from distance. Just missed it wide to the left that time. Here's a long ball to the near side, and defender trying to close in. Marcus setting it over, a chip shot, finish, and a goal! Marcus will be credited with the assist and a second goal the first half for Fort Lee, and the Bridgemen double their advantage to 2-0. Outstanding job on the near side on the pass by Jordana Marcus. It was a thing of beauty. And that became the easiest of tip-in goals for Alexa Castro. Castro scoring her 19th goal this season. Her 4th goal of this season already against Ridgefield Park. And Fort Lee leads 2-0. 26.5 minutes left to go before halftime. So we kind of hinted at that, the way that Jordana Marcus had been playing and getting wide on the pitch, going down the near side with speed. And she was going to set up a teammate eventually, and she did just there. That was the easiest tip-in. Castro didn't even really have to move her foot. It was pinpoint accuracy on the pass. And Castro up to 19 goals on the season. What a year for the sophomore. Again, I think Marcus will be credited with what should be her second assist of the year here on senior night. As Castro plays it back, over to the midfield. It's stolen away, though, by Ridgefield Park. No numbers opportunity for the Scarlets. They only have 2 attacking players up top, and all 4 of the defense for Fort Lee still there at midfield, awaiting that counterattack opportunity. So 2-0 lead for Fort Lee on top of Ridgefield Park here on senior night under the bright lights here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Honor the 3 senior members of this year's team: Elizabeth Silver, Jordana Marcus, and keeper Taylor Bedrato. Over to the near side. Here's the opening for Castro. Castro trying to get it to Marcus, who left it behind and on the far side, just jettisoned a little too high of the mark. That was close to being an absolute beauty of a finish as well. Looked like that was Esperanza Aviles, number 36, the junior. Marcus had played more of the center forward opportunity there, let it roll through to Aviles, and Aviles just on the doorstep couldn't finish. Here's So across the middle, a lot of green for her to run on. Look at this move by So, one-on-one, takes the shot and scores! Haley So already with a pair of goals here in the first half, and it's all Fort Lee 3-0 with 24 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the first half. Haley So, unbelievable in terms of her dribbling display and bringing it up the field, and no one was going to stop her. Slid it right underneath the keeper, and she's got 2 of Fort Lee's 3 goals to start off this game. As Ridgefield Park will play this one long, this will force Pedrato to think about coming out. Ridgefield Park will have an immediate answer, and they will get on the board themselves. Nadia Otuleu, the freshman, scoring her first goal of the evening. So Ridgefield Park played the long ball down the other way. Pedrato kind of got caught in between. She didn't know whether or not to come out or to play back in her cage, and that time Otuleu just slid it right past her. The Scarlets on the board for the first time this evening. It's now a 3-1 lead for Fort Lee, as we're just about 16 minutes into the first half of play. So already 4 combined goals between these 2 divisional rivals. Ridgefield Park scored twice in their loss against Fort Lee back on September 20th. Now Fort Lee trying to respond immediately, breaking down the other way. They take the shot and score! If you love offense, you're loving this first half. 5 combined goals between the 2 teams. As Castro with her second goal of the first half, now give her 20 goals on the season. She's got 2. Haley So has a pair. And we are going back and forth here. It's now a 4-1 advantage for Fort Lee. Again, their season high of goals, 8 in the 8-0 win here against Dumont. That might be in jeopardy, the way that they're playing offensively. For Ridgefield Park, that was their first goal, by the way, since a 4-2 defeat back on September 26th against Ridgefield. They had been shut out in their last, it was their first goal since a 2-0 win against Elmwood Park on September 28th. They had been shut out in their last 2 matches against Bergenfield and Dwight Morrow. So now Fort Lee operating as we're closing in on midway point to the first half. Already 4 goals on the board. And Fort Lee looking for more. That is deflected right into Maya Kraft. Kraft seems to be okay. One of the seniors that was also acknowledged before tonight's game for Ridgefield Park and Ryan Fells' program. 2 wins on the season. 1 win came against Dumont on September 22nd, a 4-1 win, and then that 2-0 win I mentioned just a couple of moments ago against Elmwood Park on September 28th. Ridgefield Park is going to be used to playing on the road in the next couple of fixtures. Starting off tonight, they will play their next 5 consecutive games away from home. At Fort Lee tonight, at Paramus on the 13th, at Dumont on the 18th. They'll travel to Teaneck on October 20th and then travel again to Cresskill on the 22nd. The next time they'll be home is on October 24th against Westwood. Here's Alexa Castro. Castro 1 away from a hat trick. Oh, beautiful find in front. Marcus just couldn't settle it down cleanly. There's Castro popping that one skywards, and Capurso makes the save. Castro tried to turn around and feed Marcus the same way that Marcus fed her on a goal. But that first touch of the ball betrayed Jordana Marcus, she could have settled it down. A one-on-one right in front of the net and a chance to maybe score here on senior night. She already has an assist to her name this year, or this evening, I should say. 2 goals, 2 assists on the season. Jordana Marcus did have a goal against Ridgefield Park back in that initial meeting on September 20th. As that'll go out of bounds and will be a throw-in. As I mentioned, not only just trying to secure another win in divisional play here tonight, but every win will go a long way for Coach Pagano's Bridgman, as Fort Lee is trying to hold on to a potential playoff berth in the state sectional playoffs. Coming into today's game, fans, in North 1 Group 3, one of the most competitive sections in all of North Jersey, Fort Lee would have the final playoff spot. If the playoffs started today, they are the 16 seed when it comes to power points. The top overall seed would be Ramapo, one of the perennial favorites year in and year out, and Northern Highlands right behind them as the 2 seed. So if Fort Lee were to make the playoffs and have the 16 seed, they would match up against Ramapo in the first round. But just to get that experience of playing in the state tournament would be something special for this side. So a win here tonight could really help their cause, increase their power point total, and move them closer and closer as we're nearing the playoff cutoff date to be in that 16-team field. Possession stolen away by Fort Lee. Now into the midfield. Here comes the attack the other way for the Bridgmen. Ailey So has a pair of goals already. Plays it forward to the near side. Marcus saves it, chips it, and Capurso makes the save. Junior has made a couple of nice stops already in goal here in the first half, despite the 4 goals on the board for the Bridgmen. Rodriguez props that forward. Here's So, top of the box, tries that left-footed approach. There's another shot deflected off the back of the defender. Velate taking that shot from distance, knocked away. As that's going to be cleared forward. Fort Lee trying to turn with it, but they get it out of bounds. It's going to be last touch, though, off of Ridgefield Park. Fort Lee scored the game's first 3 goals. Then Ridgefield Park had a breakaway, scored by Nadia Utuleu. That got them on the board, and less than 10 seconds later, a fast break the other way by Alexa Castro reclaimed the 3-goal advantage for Fort Lee, and that's where we currently reside. A 4-1 lead for the Bridgmen, as both teams making whole changes here with just over 18 minutes left to go in the first half. Played into the box. Here's Castro trying to drag it by a defender. Still at her feet with 3 different defenders on her. Castro pops that one just up and over the crossbar. Castro now with her 2 goals here in this first half, up to 20 goals on the season. And now 27 goals for her career, at 7 goals as a freshman last year. She's going to be definitely challenging some of the all-time records when her illustrious career is over in a couple of years' time, as she continues at this torrid scoring pace. Here's Castro with a double team, not phased, curling that one in on net, and making the save in the air was Capurso. Fort Lee going back on defense, really outside of that one long ball that Oduleu then was able to run down underneath, and Pedrado was well out of her net. That led to the Ridgefield Park goal. Scarlets have just rarely even gotten possession of the ball so far in this first half. Nice lead pass over to the near side as Ellis Marcus was trying her luck. Just went off her foot and allowed Capurso to come out to cut down on that angle. Fort Lee trying to defend here. Taking it to the near side, Belina Bakiri, number 7 for Ridgefield Park. Fort Lee wins back the possession, though. They take it down the far side. Opportunity here again in the box for Fort Lee. They turn and fire, and Capurso gets low to make that breadbasket save. Headed down as Fort Lee's Elizabeth Silver, one of the 3 seniors, one of the 3 captains, doing her job there to get it back to her offense. Taken for a run down the far side, Ridgefield Park. We'll see that go out of bounds. It'll be last touched off of Fort Lee, so that'll go out for a goal kick. Fort Lee after this game. On the horizon, a matchup with Riverdale. And they'll travel to Cliffside Park. They have a matchup against Passaic Valley. Eastern Christian also on the horizon. And a chance, obviously, to punch their ticket to play again in the postseason. Here's So taking the shot. That one ricocheted off the far post as Haley So was trying to roll that one in just like she did in her first goal. As that goes out of bounds, it'll be a resulting corner kick granted to Fort Lee on the far side. Fort Lee recently had a win on October 3rd on the road at Dumont, put up 6 goals in a 6-0 win against the Huskies. They've already produced 4 goals here in the first half. 14 minutes still remaining before halftime. Jordana Marcus steals it over to the near side. Marcus with 1 assist, plays it on goal. That one is tipped. Capurso makes another save. Castro was lurking in front, So as well, trying to follow up with any potential juicy rebound. Credit Ava Capurso. Nice job in goal so far of limiting the damage for Ridgefield Park. Marcus had a very tough offering from the near side. She wasn't just floating that into the box for a teammate maybe to poke in. She was looking to go for goal herself. Ball is near to the near side, and Ellis Marcus got a first initial touch of it. The freshman will race it down inside the near side box area. She'll try to center that one inside. Rip shot and a finish by Castro. She's got the hat trick. That was credit to the hustle of Ellis Marcus, the freshman, who got that initial touch of the ball, then won the possession of the near side, and the centering pass was blasted home by Alexa Castro. 5-1 lead now for Fort Lee with 12:51 left here in the first half. So Alexa Castro with 3 goals in this first half. Haley So has chipped in a pair herself. Castro now her 21st goal scored on the season. And the underclassmen paying it forward for their seniors here on senior night. That was a freshman to sophomore connection. Future is bright here for Fort Lee. Silver will go back to collect this one. And she'll play it out of bounds to the near side. It'll be a throw in here for Ridgefield Park, and one of the few times that Ridgefield Park has been able to even set up for a throw in the offensive end. Trying to turn with it over to the near side is Maya Kraft. That'll go out of bounds, and now it's going to be a deep throw in the attacking third for Ridgefield Park. Played up top by Haley So. So clearing it out to space. Castro was trying to think about making the full field sprint if she could have turned the corner, but it went out of bounds, so it's going to be a throw-in here for Ridgefield Park. Emily Ratburn, number 13, will throw it in. She was trying to get it to the feet of Bakiri. Tie up between a couple of players as Jordana Marcus was sent down to the deck. Up top to Castro. Castro popped it forward after collecting it down with her knee. Here comes Alexa Castro. Castro, already with a hat trick, sending it across the field to the far side, was trying to link up with her teammate. As that goes out of bounds and will be a throw-in now for Ridgefield Park. Sent over to the far side. As Ridgefield Park will clear it out of bounds to the far side. As now Coach Cal Pagano going to his bench, bringing on 3 new Bridgman players. And Fort Lee trying to find their way to a 4th victory on the season. Last year, Fort Lee went 6-9 overall, finished in 2nd place in the Big North American Division with a 6-2 league record. They went on to lose to Wayne Valley in the first round of the North 1 Group 3 sectional state playoffs. Trying to pick up win number 4 here. And taking a look at the Big North American standings, Dwight Morrow, the defending champs, still in first place. They're 5-0-1 in divisional play. Cliffside Park behind them, 3-0-1. So when they match up, that's going to be of great importance and the potential for Cliffside Park to even catch and overtake Dwight Morrow for a league title. Fort Lee in 3rd place, 3-3 record, so a win here today would get them above 500. Ridgefield Park in 4th place, 1-4, and Dumont rounding out the pack with an 0-5 divisional mark. Played forward to around the 30-yard line, as that's going to be taken in by Fort Lee. As now the Bridgemen bringing it over to the near side. Here's Jordana Marcus. Marcus trying to get the edge on her defender. Centering ball is off the mark, goes behind the net and out of bounds for a goal kick. 9 minutes and counting left to go here in the first half. Haley So got it going, got it started with a goal. She has added 2 goals total in this first half. Alexa Castro with a first half hat trick for Fort Lee. Jordana Marcus with an assist factored into that. Her sister Ellis also dished out an assist. And it has been all Bridgman here so far this evening. 5 first half goals, propelling them to a 5-1 lead. Nadia Otaleu scoring the lone goal for Ridgefield Park on a nice breakaway. A finish by the freshman who looks promising. As Ridgefield Park trying to boot it around. Gabby Gutierrez, number 17, just couldn't keep it in play. As it'll be a throw-in now for Fort Lee. Fort Lee in the black, Ridgefield Park defending in the white. Played over to the far side. Fort Lee driving it into the box. Ridgefield Park steals it back, and now here's an advance up the field for the Scarlets. Stepping up, good defensive, aggressive play there for Fort Lee anticipating. As that was Silver who made the play. Ball atop the box, now give and go as Velate coming down with it. Ridgefield Park clears it out to space, to the feet of Radburn. Radburn was just trying to pop it forward to Kraft. Silver swings and misses, a cheeky smile elicited from her, as she'll have to run back and try to defend here. Kraft will propel it forward, as Fort Lee will try to track it down. with Ruka Suzuki, number 15, coming out over there as well. It looks like a Fort Lee player is down. The clock will stop with 6:36 left to go here in the first half as is Silver a little slow to get to her feet as well. Silver, one of the 3 players for Coach Pagano, who's honored before today's game, being helped up by fellow senior Taylor Pedrato. Round of applause for her as she'll walk off the field under her own power, as athletic trainer Tom Herr will give her a look as well. As time will restart after that throw-in, and it goes out of bounds again, will be another throw-in for Ridgefield Park. Nice crowd assembled here to honor these 3 seniors here on senior night. Fort Lee trying to win here at home for the first time since September. Comes out to space, and Fort Lee clears it out to the middle of the field. Ridgefield Park now starting to put on a little pressure of their own offensively, but they were called offsides on the play. So it's going to be possession and a free kick upcoming here for Fort Lee. Under 6 minutes left to go in our first half. All Bridgman here in this big North American Division showdown. 5-1 lead. Knocked forward by Kraft. And played forward again, this time by Suzuki. In the midfield was Isabella Gomero for Ridgefield Park. Got a piece of it. Goes down the other way. Here comes Fort Lee with a head of steam in front of him. Fort Lee takes the shot from distance, and Capurso measured it up all the way. So gets a touch of it. Joellen Rodriguez now playing in the defensive spot that was vacated by Silver, and now that's a push in the back against Ridgefield Park. Good sportsmanship there displayed by Ridgefield Park, helping the Fort Lee player back to her feet, and now it's going to be a free kick awarded to the Bridgeman. 4:45 and counting left to go here until halftime. Again, Fort Lee is trying to garner as many wins as possible here late in the season. They have a tough task ahead of them with a couple of really tough opponents looming large on the schedule. So a win here could go a long way in trying to fend off the advances of some of the teams such as Leonia and Morris Hills. They're trying to track them down from behind. Good ball to the far side in the box. There's a shot, but again, right at Capurso. Capurso's closing in potentially on double-digit saves in this first half alone. She had 17 saves in the first meeting back on the 20th of September. Out of bounds it goes. Last season here on the road, Ridgefield Park dropped a 4-0 decision at the Sugarman Sports Complex on September 23rd, 2021. Here's So in the midfield. Plays it forward. Capurso will come off her line and scoop it up. Now Fort Lee again with an opportunity. There's a shot handled on a couple of bounces. Fort Lee has been consistent with their pressure all evening long. Now So again. Maneuvers past that defender. Ball gets back to the feet of So with the yellow cleats. Takes the shot. Tries to hook it in to the far side. But skewers it out of bounds wide of the net in the process. And That will once again go out for a goal kick. Fort Lee went back and forth yesterday on our volleyball broadcast with Ridgefield Park in 2 highly contested sets. Fort Lee would outlast the Scarlets 2-0, win for the second time against their league rivals, and in the process win a share of the league championship on their senior night, where they honored 10 seniors as part of Coach Ziemba's squad. 3 seniors here tonight for Coach Pagano's side, but seniors that were a part of that team that claimed the American Division title a couple of seasons ago in 2020. As we're coming up on the final 90 seconds of the first half of play. Fort Lee with their 5 goals here in the first half, up to 37 total goals on the season. They've allowed 1. So the defense has been up to the challenge, and the offense has been explosive, to say the least. Foul whistled against Fort Lee. He's going to set up a free kick here for Ridgefield Park, right in the front of that far sideline. As we close in on the final minute of the first half. They're trying to time the run, but offside was the call on the near side. Just couldn't time it enough as Fort Lee played that offsides trap, stepping up with a couple of their backline defenders. Trying to link in behind was Gamero. But again, Gamero played that ball. The goal does not count. It was in the offside position. 40 seconds left to go in our first half. Sent long down the other way. Capurso will just allow it to roll into her hands. Good step up there defensively by Fort Lee. Maybe one final chance if they hurry. 10 seconds left to go in the first half. Good defending by Ridgefield Park on the far side. Bridgman come away with it. 5 seconds on the clock. On the outer edges of the box, centering ball to the top, and the buzzer will sound before Jordana Marcus could get off that shot. Unlucky timing for her, as the senior already with an assist here on senior night. She was trying to add to her collection with maybe a goal as well. She'll have to wait until the start of the second half. At halftime, it's Fort Lee 5, Ridgefield Park 1. Stick around as we'll be back for the start of the second half here on YouTube. Welcome back, everybody, to the Sugarman Sports Complex here in Fort Lee as we're moments away for the resumption of play in the start of the second half, as they are also going to be making an announcement that time is going to be officially kept on the field in the start of the second half by the officials. They'll still have the score listed on the scoreboard, but again, it's going to be a case of the officials are going to be the ones who are in charge of operating the clock.
Attention fans, official time will be kept on the field. Official time will be kept on the field by the officials.
Ridgefield Park in their white uniforms with red numerals, scoring once in that first half, courtesy of freshman forward Nadia Otuleyu. And Fort Lee playing in their home black uniforms with the orange numerals outlined in white. 5 goals by the Bridgemen in the first half of play, scoring a lot of those even before the first 20 minutes had elapsed. 3 goals, a hat trick in the first half by Alexa Castro. Haley So with 2 goals of her own. Fort Lee a half away from finishing off their 4th win of the season and trying to sweep the regular season series against Ridgefield Park. They won 7-2 back on September 20th at Ridgefield Park. And they're trying to make it 10 wins in a row. The last win in this series for the Scarlets came back in 2016. Fort Lee playing it out to space to the near side. As the Bridgemen trying to bring it up the near side. Getting a touch of that was number 9, Abigail Fearon. Fearon has been impressive at points in that first half of play as well for the Bridgemen. Haley So. She's been a dribbling dynamo at points here for Fort Lee as they played wide to the far side. So Castro now with a hat trick in both meetings against Ridgefield Park this year. 6 goals in 2 games. As that's chipped forward and knocked down with 2 hands by Capurso. Gobbled up in the midfield by Rodriguez. So again, the official time is being kept on the field. So if you're wondering and looking at the picture-in-picture of why the clock is not going while the second half is still underway, that is why the decision was made that the 2 referees would be in charge of watching the time. We'll update the score if there are any additional goals here in the second half. Corner kick granted and now being given in the far side corner to Fort Lee. Bridgeman trying to get that into the box, but Capurso is up to the challenge. Again, despite giving up the 5 goals in the first half, a lot of those chances were just not able to be saved at all. Here's Castro still with it, weaving her way through the defense. Castro showing off the footwork too. Capurso was kind of left for dead a couple of times with those shot opportunities, had no chance to make a save against the Fort Lee shot, and she had at least, I think, unofficially, double-digit saves in that first half. Had 17 saves in the first meeting. She's building on a big performance here tonight. Latte bringing it backwards. Olivia Krautz playing it over. Castro trying to sniff her way to another goal as that rolls out of bounds to the near side. That's going to go out of bounds as he was trying to get it to number 9, Abigail Fearon. Fort Lee was trying to set up like it was a corner kick, but referee had deemed that had gone out last touch off of the home side and goes out for a goal kick. Angelina Villate, freshman, one of the freshmen that lurk in this lineup. Castro up top to So. Here's Castro again, just knocked off the ball. Sent forward by Gisbel Peralta. To the near side, it's Dia Bauda. number 7 for Fort Lee, and gain that possession back for the Bridgemen. So into the midfield. Crowd pops it forward. Fearon. Lacey Barick going after it as that goes a little too long. Barick, 3 goals, 3 assists on the season for number 8 in black, the sophomore. 9 points on the year. Subs being made by Coach Pagano. 5-1 lead for Fort Lee. Again, if you're just joining us, all 5 goals coming in the first half for the Bridgemen here on senior night. Race out to a 3-0 lead. Ridgefield Park got on the board, made it a 3-1 advantage. Then the last 2 goals scored in the first half by Fort Lee. Time being kept officially on the field by the 2 referees, not on the scoreboard here. As that shot opportunity off the mark to the far side, and that's where we stand right now. Fort Lee right now, if the playoffs started today, would be in the playoffs in North 1 Group 3 as the final entry. Centering ball, left up top, and that one has just popped up and over, and Marcus is furious. She had another golden opportunity to maybe set herself and fire in a goal on senior night. Already with an assist earlier on in the first half, I should say. And Marcus also had an opportunity just in the waning moments of the first half, but time expired before her shot, which found its way to the back of the net, would have counted. Jordana Marcus, a 4-year member of this varsity team. Along with Taylor Bedrado and Elizabeth Silver, honored prior to today's game as 3 team captains and all the seniors here on senior night. Crowd getting it up top. The far side it goes. Ellis Marcus. Lacey Barick was trying to make her run down the near side, couldn't see her. Going to get it to her in the far side. And now here goes Jordana Marcus going wide. Goes out of bounds. Last touch off of Ridgefield Park will be another corner in this game for Fort Lee. After this game, Fort Lee will have 1 game remaining in divisional play. That will be a road match at Cliffside Park on October 20th. Chested down by the defense of Ridgefield Park, allowing Capurso to run over to collect it. Down the other way, here comes Ridgefield Park with an advance up the field. Maya Kraft. Kraft's going wide with it, turns the corner, and that goes out of bounds. Last touched by, looks like Ridgefield Park, so it will go out for a goal kick. New goalie into the game was Abigail Fearon. As Bedrado started off this match. And now the junior, Abigail Fearon, will give this one sent down the other way. Fearon, a midfielder, also the backup goalie now for Coach Pagano. Over to the near side, last touched off of the boot of Yandira Valdez, the sophomore. So Coach Pagano has gone to his bench and brought on a lot of reserves to get some valuable playing experience at the varsity level here tonight. Ridgefield Park trying to race to it to the near side. That's Gamero. Goes out of bounds. Last touch off of Fort Lee, so it's going to be a corner kick opportunity here for Ridgefield Park. Trying to pull closer here in the second half. Down by 4 goals, 5-1. Kraft serves it up. Pinballs around in the box. Good job by Fort Lee of getting to it and breaking out the other way. Nice movement down the field. Angelina Velate chips it over, and that one hit off the woodwork. Caromed out in front, it's loose, and just getting to it in time was Capurso. Angelina Velate, freshman, nearly had a sensational end-to-end run that would have finished with a chip shot finish in the near side. Instead, it ricocheted off of the woodwork on the near post side. Couldn't get cleaned up in front of the goal and just led to a missed opportunity there for a potential 6th goal of the game for Fort Lee. As that goes out of bounds. As now Ridgefield Park bringing on 4 new substitutes as well for Coach Ryan Fells' side. Lacey Barrick is playing up top alongside Castro. And Esperanza Viles for Coach Pagano's side. Here comes Fort Lee the other way, trying to chase after it. Loose inside the box. Bridgman looking for their first goal of the second half. Good defensive work there by Ridgefield Park, clearing out to space. That'll go out of play and will be a throw-in. Another sub coming into the match. Nice move through the defensive player's legs. Fort Lee just couldn't track it down themselves. Bridgman trying to go to 4-3 in divisional play this year. Also pick up their 4th overall win of the season. Trickles out. Altashuki, number 5. Latte getting top side now. Takes an off-balance shot with her momentum taking her one way. The shot went the other. Went wide of the mark to the far side, went out of bounds for a goal kick. Hit out of bounds, last touch off of Ridgefield Park. As Fort Lee will just play it backwards to set this up. Fearon will get it over to the near side to Valdez. Ball left out in space. Kraut trying to track it down. Good race back there to prevent Gutierrez Tammy from getting a chance. Out to the near side. Tracking it down was Shuki. Latte setting it wide to the far side. Nice start and stop there for Fort Lee as they bring it down the other way. Trying to chase after it into the box, takes the shot, ricocheted into the net, and a goal for Fort Lee. And the celebration is on. Looks like that might have been Esperanza Viles. The way she was celebrating, I would have to think that is her first ever goal. Not part of the original roster, so she got the call up. And she has a lot to be thankful for. With juniors scoring the goal, Fort Lee now on top by 5, 6-1. Largest lead of the evening. And the celebration continues for Aviles on the far side, hugging her members of the coaching staff, and what a special moment. As Fort Lee is on its way to a 4th win of the season. And maybe picking up a couple more valuable power points in the process as well. Again, with games looming against Riverdale, Cliffside Park, Passaic Valley, and Eastern Christian to close out the regular season. Fort Lee has to be opportunistic and try to garner as many power points as possible before the playoff cutoff. Over to the far side as that's going to be taken in by Capurso. Time being held on the clock by the 2 officials. That's why if you're tuning in, just see the scoreboard operational in terms of the score, but not the time. Second half time and timing procedures being held by the 2 officials. Stolen away from Lucia Koretsky, the sophomore, number 24. Out of bounds it goes. Three different goal scorers here this evening. A hat trick for Castro, 2 goals for So, and now a goal here for Aviles in the second half. Her first career goal at the varsity level. Rodriguez initially got that knocked down at her feet. Ferron gets a boot into it, sends it down the other side of the field. Stolen away by Fort Lee. Fort Lee pushing the pace down the far side wing. Centered ball, knocked down by the defense of Ridgefield Park as they'll play it forward. Getting stolen away as a lot of the reserves getting their playing time now. Long distance shot, easily gobbled up. Valeria Acosta Mesa, number 25, is also into the game for the first time up top for Fort Lee, as Koretsky was trying to maneuver around that last defender. Ruka Suzuki. Let's move inside the box as Marcus just couldn't settle it down to the top edge. As that'll go out of bounds to the near side. Jarajana, a freshman defender, number 27, into the game as well. Got a touch of it. There's almost everybody now getting a chance to play if they haven't done so already here for Fort Lee. Ridgefield Park playing it up top to Maya Kraft. Kraft trying to turn with speed around the freshman defender and got the edge, but again shot it wide to the mark to the outside of the net. As Firon has not allowed a goal since she has checked into this game in the second half. And that'll be the final whistle to end regulation and a successful senior night here for Fort Lee, as the Bridgemen will win by a final score of 6-1. They will sweep the regular season series against Ridgefield Park and win for the 10th overall time in a row against the Scarlets. Ridgefield Park will go to 2-7 on the season, 1-5 in divisional play. Fort Lee with a victory, 4-8 overall in the year, 4-3 in the American Division. Ridgefield Park's next game will be a road contest on the 13th at Paramus, while Fort Lee will next be back in action here at home against Riverdale on the 14th. So that'll do it for our broadcast coverage of the 2022 Senior Night festivities here under the lights at the Sugarman Sports Complex. A successful night honoring the likes of Elizabeth Silver, Jordana Marcus, and Taylor Bedrano as the Bridgemen pick up their 4th win of the season. Special thanks to our camera operator, Andrew Park, and our intrepid producer, Dimitri Nanis. I'm Dan Long saying so long, and thanks for watching Fort Lee Girls Soccer on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Take care, everybody.